everyone to this Liberty Fringe at the Labour Party conference of 2012. We have a speaker who's yet to arrive, Sadiq, the Shadow Justice Secretary, but I don't want us to waste a moment because we have a wonderful panel, and I know that all of you will have questions and contributions to make as well. So please give a warm welcome, first of all, to Keith Harris.
The reason why Liberty is able to sit at the top table with government and opposition and be quoted by government and opposition is your willingness to engage, and that's got a lot to do with the way in which Shami has led this organisation over the last few years. And nothing gave me more pride when watching the opening of the Olympics than to see Shami, along with others, carrying the Olympic flag. And I thought to myself, Britain really has changed in the last 25 years. So thank you, Shami, for all that you do. One of the things that we can do in advance of legalising is to make sure that we put forward in a positive and constructive way the idea of our country as a country that represents the world. We only won the Olympics, after all, because of the diversity of London. And I think we can win so much more in the civil liberties agenda by talking about the diversity of our country and making sure it's reflected in society as a whole. Thank you for listening.
The next speaker, Sadiq, the Shadow Justice Secretary and Lord Chancellor, has described the idea of abolishing the Human Rights Act as an extremely grave error, and when he might, as someone who's come up from human rights legal practice. I'm very glad to say, from a Liberty perspective, that earlier this month he wrote to Mr Clegg, the Deputy Prime Minister, in advance of the defeat of the Lib Dem leadership at their conference last week on secret courts, saying that the government has given a positively misleading picture of how the Justice and Security Bill will operate. He said that rather than a misguided rush to legislation, the government would have been better advised to hold a proper debate about all the options available.
In the letter I wrote to Clegg, there's a paragraph where I quote the evidence from a very important human rights group called Liberty. And my special advisor, Dr. Nick Bowes, who says, you know, you may have left Liberty, but Liberty never leaves you, does it? And it's true. So I was very pleased to quote Liberty in my letter. But also, Shami, can I say, the theme of the Fringe meeting is equality under the law. And only, and as you can imagine, I'm doing sort of 7 or 8 Fringes a day. This is the first Fringe I've been to. It's a really important point, actually, as I said flippantly, where you have 2 women on the platform, 3 ethnic minorities, and a northern bloke. It's not a zero-sum game being giving consideration to the security of the state and the citizen, and being passionate about the human rights and civil liberties of the citizen. And sometimes, during those 13 years of the new Labour government, we got that balance wrong. Nick Clegg made a promise, and let's be frank, he won lots of votes from Labour because he had better views on civil liberties. I mean, let's be frank. Many people didn't vote Labour in 2010 because the Nick Clegg package, and in fact, you know, The Guardian, if you speak to the senior management of The Guardian, they will tell you, listen, we were very persuaded by his views on civil liberties, which were far more attractive to us than yours. And we've got to see how he behaves in relation to the secret courts. Because I wrote him a private letter, it's been reported about now, so I'm not going to not divulging confidence, and say, look, listen, mate, if there is evidence that you think is persuasive to change the way we've done stuff for the last 600 years, I'm willing to play ball. If you're saying the current tools available, and read some of the stuff on the Liberty website, redacting documents, anonymity of witnesses, public interest immunity, hot closed rings, there's a whole host of tools available are inadequate to achieve justice, let's talk about it. If it's the case, you can give me one example of a national, of stuff that's national security being divulged in a court case that has led to our security being compromised. Let's talk about it. So I've written to him and I wait for a response.
Because our law is based on the idea that people are equal before the law, that evidence is shared. So if I'm relying on something, I put it in open court. If somebody else is relying on it, they put it in open court. Everybody knows what it is. The judge isn't an umpire. His job or her job is not to go in and investigate. It's a very different way of looking at how you are to get to the truth. And there are a number of concerns about it, obviously, and many criticisms have been made. But if it helps to make citizens in Britain safer, then we want to talk about that. But we do need to have the evidence. And given that no secret has been disclosed in our courts that have undermined national security in the history of our court service, it is difficult in some ways for that case to be made out. But we're open to argument on it. And we do want to keep an open mind, albeit that we must be aware that the changes, that the request that is being made under this bill will fundamentally alter the way in which we do our trials. And that is the issue of concern to us.
Combine that with the other side of the leaflet, for their eyes only in secret justice. We know in a democracy we've got to be the enemy of secret justice, because secret justice is no justice at all. And the best example we can come up with now is look at Hillsborough. For 23 years, the families of the 96 who died, or 97, Kelvin Mackenzie now seems to think he was a victim, although I suggest he just find a rather large stone and crawl back under it. But the 96 victims were never knew, because there was secrecy right around what happened from the beginning. We didn't see that police report had been on it. And if you bring in secret justice, this will happen again in cases, because basically evidence needs to be examined in public so both sides can see it, the public can see it, and you can make up your mind. And it's all about sparing the security services and the government, public bodies from embarrassment. Embarrassment when they cock up, and when they cock up, they want to cover up. And we've all got to fight it, because it's just fundamentally wrong.